another person is going to testify to what that person stated.
Okay.
That's hearsay.
Okay.
All right, now, so the judge has to make a determination as to whether or not hearsay can be admitted. Right? But in this situation, it was our position that because our defense was based on this allegation,
all right,
that we had reliable witnesses, not just Damon, but we had one of Jacob York's sisters, also for the same thing was stated to her, and that all of this evidence needs to be come into before the jury, so that the jury can get a true picture of the truth in the case.
Okay.
It was limited. Now, I would suffice it to say that hearsay was allowed in from the prosecution's point the entire trial.
But it wasn't. But it wasn't allowed in on your side. Right.
A very limited amount was let in, but it didn't get to the point to fully establish the defense. The motive, as Damon stated, the motive. He would have been the person, plus Jacob's sister, if the judge would have let certain testimony in to establish the reason why Jacob York set up this conspiracy. And we were not allowed to allow that evidence in. And that would be one of the issues that we will raise on appeal.
The willpower is beginning to stink a little bit.
Now, let me point one more thing out.
Yes.
One thing that was not addressed and never sufficiently answered by any of the alleged victims is who financed the trip to South Beach. Now, if anybody's ever been to South Beach is one of the most expensive vacation areas in the world.
Okay.
And there were 2 vans that were rented. They lived at a very expensive hotel for an entire weekend. Food, alcohol, and everything was paid for. And as far as our information is concerned, none of these alleged victims that went had jobs. So the question still remains, who financed this trip?
Who paid for the trip?
Right. And that was never answered.
The jury's still out on that?
Right.
Oh, man. All right. He was going to say something. I'm sorry.
Add to that. Not only was Damon Tribe prevented from testifying, like the attorney said.
Frankie Johnson, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. York's daughter also testified, but her testimony was limited because the same procedure that the judge did with Damon did also with Dr. York's daughter. And her testimony was limited. We also had other witnesses, just as the attorney said, that was prevented from testifying at all. And one of those witnesses went on that South Beach trip, and it was a female, and she also heard of the plot, and they were discussing it freely in the travel going down at South Beach when they were partying, staying at the bars and the clubs down there, and on their way back. Because on their way back, a day or 2 later is when they went to the FBI with their stories. So
I want to add something to what Mr. Johnson stated, is that this was allegedly a halfway house. Actually, it was a house where the girls came and Jacob York was having sexual relations with almost every single alleged victim.
That's right.
And that was brought up during the course of the trial, and I think he even related that to Damon in terms of showing pictures to him and things like that.
Well, you got my voice here for a second. This information comes up in the trial.
Right. The information, let me tell you what information came up. The fact that he was having sex with most of the alleged victims, that came up. But the information as far as the details, what Damon had to say to establish the circle of the conspiracy did not. And what the sister had to say did not come up.
Any more information from the defense that was prevented from coming to the trial? Coming to evidence?
Also, there was also people that would have testified to the fact that Jacob York molested children, and that didn't get entered into as evidence as well.
The so-called accuser is tainted.
Right. That's why we always said that.
That's right.
That the father, Malachi York, is being accused of the son Jacob York's crimes.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. That's what it will boil down to.
Yeah. And basically, in my closing, I stated that if the government states that Jacob York was not this person we've alleged, they should have called him to the stand to clear his name, and they didn't.
you have appeal on this.
Right.
You have a hard road.
Right. But we have a lot of strong issues for it.
Yes, I know. I mean, and I'm not saying this, initially, but we all know, and I can say this, without any doubt, that when you are fighting in this land and in these courts, innocent, allegedly until you're proven guilty, okay, you have a harder road to prove you're innocent or to prove, that you're not guilty than other people, you understand, because we do not have the openness of the courts and whatnot. Plus, we also, some of us know, you may know, I know, is that the courts don't always run the straight road.
Right.
So, let me ask you something in particular to Dr. York's state of mind and his state. You have spoken with him and whatnot.
Right.
What can you tell us about his state of mind and his health in general?
All right. Well, not to get into attorney-client privilege.
No, right.
To get into generally speaking, he's upbeat and he feels very strongly about an appeal, and he basically wants everyone to keep working as diligently as possible on his appeal in any post-trial proceedings to free him and show his innocence. You know what I'm saying? It's a very difficult thing if you've been in jail, 19 months? Going on May will be 2 years. So, a little longer, I guess 22 months. It's a very difficult thing for anyone to handle. You understand?
Yes.
But the type of man Dr. York is, he's conceptually digested it and understands that that's just a process that he has to go through until he's proven innocent. So he's very upbeat about it. He's very confident in the people he has working on the case, the lawyers, and the people in the organization that are working on the case.